Oh my gosh. I love what you guys have already put there into the chat. There we have it. You're going to love the review I left. The restaurant gets shut down. Yes, by Jax. And then, Mr. Jax, what are you going to do if you get elected as mayor? Jax, teach kids swears. It's absolutely 100% true. If Jax were to be elected as mayor, it would be the calamity that would ensue would be somewhat akin as electing Grunkle Stan as mayor of Gravity Falls. One does not just teach kids swear words. Oh, contraire. Have you seen what I get? Oh, let me put on my Grunkle Stan voice right there for a moment. Au contraire, you have no idea what I can teach to kids. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I believe we've got Hannah and ISO here, and Sonic and Mario Plushie left some messages earlier. So yeah, welcome. Let's get things started. Especially because I don't know how long I will be able to run this for tonight. In part because I definitely need to catch up on beauty sleep. Why? Because there's a very good chance I'll be going out bright and early tomorrow morning to go rappelling with my nephew, which is going to be awesome. But that will require a lot of travel, and I definitely do not want to feel sleepy while trusting my life to a rope. That is a recipe for disaster. Theory: Jax's Grunkle Stan, and yeah, Grunkle Stan is absolutely Jax. The only thing is that when I got put into the Amazing Digital Circus, before I got out, this weird thing happened that completely changed my voice. So as far as I knew, Pomni was a dude, like a 30-year-old, 300-pound dude. And that's why, kids, you should not ship random fictional characters, because you don't actually know who they are. No way, Jose. You can ship me if you want with the weird spider woman who tried to eat me. That's totally fine. But please, not with the 300-pound 30-year-old dude playing as Pomni. Pomni is just Dipper. Pomni and Dipper would probably get along. Also, that's an amazing Grunkle Stan voice. Hey, thank you. I will not maintain that throughout the evening, because holy cow, that will destroy my voice. I have done it once. Where I did a Grunkle. I dressed up as Grunkle Stan for a Halloween dance. This is years ago. I dressed up as Grunkle Stan for Halloween dance, went to said Halloween dance, had an absolute blast, spoke as Grunkle Stan for the entire dance. It was about 2.5 hours I was there, and I had almost no voice the next day. I was like, my roommates were like, "Hey, Lars, how was the dance last night?" "That's right. I'm getting tea now." It took an entire day of almost no talking, lots of tea and honey, and I was able to restore my voice somewhat by the time I had to go back to work and school on on Monday. This destroy my insanity. I will destroy both sanity and insanity. All right, well, let's get started with some stuff right here. If you haven't already seen my recommendation for Kaiju number 8, I highly recommend it. And not just for the sexy lady who's currently walking across the screen as I'm saying this. I actually enjoyed watching what I have so far of Kaiju number 8 because of the extremely relatable main character, at least maybe to me, as a guy in his 30s, and as a guy who has gone through that whole process of chasing after your dreams and then losing, because unfortunately that's just what happens to us sometimes. We have these big ideas in our mind of like where we want to go, what we want to do. We get the education, we make the connections, we might even enter that field of a career that we wish to bask in and get involved in for the rest of our lives, and then it just all comes crashing on down. It happens, and then when that happens, what do you do? What do you do? Do you just give up, or do you continue chasing your dream? Does your dream take on a new look? And I like that. That's kind of the idea behind at least the beginning episodes of Kaiju number 8. And then on top of that, you just got some really good humor and action all blended in there. The animation is quality. It's fantastic. Also, Spice and Wolf just wrapped up its first arc, which is great. Oh boy. Shall we talk about economics? We could talk about economics. Sonic has come back to life. Wake him up and save. I would not be able to do the Stan voice, but Zeus' voice basically comes naturally. I'm a Zeus. I have a harder time doing Zeus's voice, and a lot of people get mad at me because I say Zeus instead of Zeus, but I will blame that on my Germanic upbringing, where S's can become Z's really quickly. Rubens, what's up, boys? Reporting for duty and for freedom. Yes, freedom here. Sonic, what is this? What is this? What is my life? This is what my life has become. Razzle dazzle, friends. This is the Raz Dazzler. This is what my life has become. Ha-cha-cha. Oh man, Gravity Falls. So great. Well, no one's telling me that I should talk about economics, so I guess I will forbear and save the Spice and Wolf stuff for an upcoming video, because I definitely want to do a video going into how excellently the first arc of Spice and Wolf takes a concept of economics, and not just of like, oh, supply and demand. No, forget supply and demand. We're going big. We're talking about how countries can destroy each other by taking over another country's currency, or hijacking another country's currency, or tanking another country's currency. And we're going to use that to help to facilitate a story of how an awkward traveling merchant is going to start developing feelings for a wolf goddess stuck in a teenage body with a tail, and it actually works. Man, love Spice and Wolf. Rubens, my life has 3 clear objectives: make N a true patriot, talk about economics, and bring freedom upon this world. Yes, welcome to Helldivers. We will have liberty. We are gonna bring liberty to this world, and then to all the other worlds. They will enjoy it. All right, so let's see here. Before I talk just a wee bit more about some of the stuff that's been happening in the world of anime, to give you just a brief overview of what I intend to do tonight. So we'll wrap up with just the really brief conversations about anime, and then I want to talk about dealing with reviews and criticism. And for that, I am going to put myself somewhat on the chopping block. Some of the stuff that I will show, depending on your point of view, could either be incredibly embarrassing or incredibly encouraging. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about dealing with criticisms and review. We're then going to, after that, we'll then transition on over to talking about the recent controversy of, and it's not really so much a controversy, let's just call it a non-controversy. Ultimately, it's people being really upset with Jax being Jax from the Amazing Digital Circus, and we'll talk about character development, progression, and cues and clues that we can get from the Amazing Digital Circus to hopefully better help us understand what's happening with Jax and Glitch. These mad lads already released a new merchandise trailer. Holy cow, they are on the ball, and I really cannot tell if they were just that, if they had already come pre-prepared for just how much people were going to love and miss Gummy Goo, or if they were like, wow, people love Gummy Goo, and within like 48 hours they're all like, okay, then everyone, here's the next script. Here is the merchandising trailer. We have 24 hours to make this happen, people. Do it. And then slap the whole thing together. Mimic is here. Hey there again, Mr. Lars. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Hey, I really do hope that you're doing great, Mimic. It's great to have you here. Sonic Jax. Okay, kids, time to learn how to do tax evasion. Jax and Grunkle Stan doing tax evasion together. Doodly doodly doo, evading my taxes, committing tax fraud. Oh man, gotta love it. All right, so then to wrap up the brief little bit about anime, I feel like that. I don't know if any of you watched the channel Mother's Basement, which is an anime review channel, and there's some pretty good stuff on there. Sometimes I get a little bit annoyed with some of the takes, but hey, it is what it is, and there's people who get annoyed with me. But I was surprised to see, and I almost wanted to be all like, welcome aboard the train, dude. The most recent video from Mother's Basement was how Disney is killing anime. And I'm just all like, welcome to the party. We have known that this has been happening ever since summertime rendering. And it was blatantly confirmed with Heavenly Delusion. Oh, if you don't know summertime rendering or Heavenly Delusion, it's understandable, because Disney bought the rights, or I say bought the licensing rights to those anime, and then killed them on their streaming platforms. And I don't understand why. Why? Like, there's a part of me that believes that the House of Mouse acquired the property simply so that way they could make sure that no one else had it. And there's another part of me that believes that they got their hands on some of these anime because they saw just how critically acclaimed they were in Japan. So, for instance, Summertime Rendering is one of the highest awarded, decorated manga of all time, which is interesting because we don't normally hear that over here in the West. Like, it's all about Dragon Ball and One Piece and Full Metal Alchemist. But Summertime Rendering is a phenomenal story. I'll just put that into here. Summertime Rendering. That's there in the chat. Absolutely worth watching. Holy cow. It is so dang good. Basically, the premise for it is that you have a boy whose best friend from the island that he grew up on died. She died mysteriously, and he's coming for the funeral. At the funeral, one of his friends tells him it wasn't an accident. She was murdered. And he's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "I saw the bruises. My dad, who's the coroner, covered up everything, but there are bruises. Her larynx was crushed." And so now they are on the lookout for this murderer. And it's this rabbit hole of mystery, of the truths and horrors buried on this island. And then there's this gives away a little bit of it, but there are time loops. But the way that the story does time loops is amazing. Holy cow. And just the characters. The characters really make it, but the story is phenomenal. The action is incredible. The mystery is on point. The time travel is mind-bending. It is so good. Summertime Rendering is phenomenal. There's a reason why it won so many awards. You would not know that here in America because Disney killed the anime. by buying it, burying it with no advertising whatsoever, and I honestly have no idea why, because it could have been a mint maker. Had they advertised to people that it was on Hulu and ready to watch, or even on Disney Plus and ready to watch, it wouldn't have been on Disney Plus because it was actually too gory and violent for Disney Plus. But it definitely would have been. It's definitely acceptable for Hulu. They just killed it, and I don't know why. Coming to what some of you guys have said, honestly, I don't know what people were expecting. Gooseworx even said that she was waiting for the Jax fan base to split after they saw how much of an actual jerk Jax was. And here's the thing. I can enjoy a despicable character because there's a lot of things that Jax does that makes him entertaining or even makes him relatable. And as such, I'm like, okay, then you're a jerk, but I can still enjoy you. Hannah, the disgruntled baby face. Ruben's Disney is truly based. Ah, yes, based indeed. Hannah, I know Heavenly Desolation. I spelled that wrong. Heavenly Delusion. Yep, Heavenly Delusion is an incredible series. Now then, keeping to the theme of the stream, time to pirate some anime. So, for Heavenly Delusion, let me just say this. If you do not know what Heavenly Delusion is, and while I actually definitely recommend it, I will also warn people. Like, I'm normally not one for trigger warnings, but I will say this: the last couple episodes of Heavenly Delusion are intense. They are full on rated R and not for gore, violence, or language. So there's only a couple of other things that you can get a rated R rating for: slime and sex. And there's not slime. So it is, oh wow, it is an intense story. I'm really glad that I read the manga before actually diving into the anime, because the manga, like, especially like reading beyond the point where the anime ends. The anime, I don't believe, really should have ended where it did, but that was what the directors decided for season 1. But the manga takes you on takes you really on an incredible journey, especially after the end scene that you get in the anime, because the manga's very next arc is helping one of the main characters, Kiriko, deal with what she has just been through. And there's another arc later on that gives you like a big ray of hope. And you're just like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, my poor sweet girl. Everything will be all right. It is intense. And with Hannah putting in there the crying emoji and the skull and crossbones, yes, that is very well warranted for Heavenly Delusion. Heavenly Delusion is a very intense story with a lot of really intense themes and dark moments. But honestly, great characters, great action, great little adventures. Now then, I know why Disney killed this one. And so I'll tell you, and it all comes down to the fact that the higher-ups at Disney did not pay attention to what they were buying. It was totally buyer's remorse. So Disney, I mean, this is no big secret, but Disney is all about that DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and hey, we love ourselves some diversity here. Diversity is good. Allah loves wondrous variety, as we get from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. However, Disney, rather than doing it in any kind of way that is ennobling or healthy or creative, just goes for cramming it down your throat. Well, Disney, because what they saw for Heavenly Delusion. Hey, Hafiz, welcome. What Disney saw on the description for Heavenly Delusion is that, oh, there is a transgender character. It's one of the main characters. And it's Japanese. If we get this will fulfill all of our DEI requirements. Hallelujah. And it's an award-winning manga. This will be fantastic. Let's buy it up. So they bought it up and we're getting ready to air it. And then when they acquired the property and then had to look at what they had actually bought with that, because they didn't bother reading it before getting on, before getting on board, we're all like, oh, that's the ending to the season? What have we done? Bury it, and make sure that no one ever hears about this. Disney buried the anime adaptation for Heavenly Delusion so deep that after the premiere of the anime, no one could, like, it was so hard to get your hands on any footage. It was never advertised, and you had to go hunting on Hulu. Like, you had to make sure that you properly spelled out everything. There was no, oh, this is suggested for you. No suggestions. It was buried. So, yeah. Oh, boy. Disney. All the things that just... you know what, Hannah, I don't know if I would go as far as to claim that, really, but I will say this, is that Disney does not appreciate, nor do they respect, a lot of people, especially the people that they claim to support. I've seen very little true respect coming from Disney recently, and yeah, that's just disappointing. Especially because I grew up with Disney, and Disney of the old days. Yeah, sure, Walt Disney himself, if we judge him by today's standards, would not fit in, and even by the standards of the 1950s, real hardcore. Yet still, what Disney came to represent as a whole, Disney Company and their stories, was very positive, and very positive stories, very inclusive stories. Nowadays, I don't get the positivity, and I don't get the real inclusion. It's just sad to see what Disney's become. They're money grubbing, and they're losing money all at the same time. Oh, Disney. Losing to Glitch. It's funny to see that Glitch is still kicking their keister all the way into May of this year. Let's hear, Mr. Emerev. One show and one tab, this on the other, or what do I do? I'd say both. Both is good. So, piracy. Hands up. Hey, you know what? We're going to talk a little bit about piracy, or at least a book about piracy, here in a moment. Mimic, frankly, Jax being crazier in the latest episode also made me swoon for him even more. He's the Joker to my Harley Quinn. Oh my. Oh, my heart is all aflutter, Mimic. And Glitch is only getting more famous. You're absolutely right, ISO. They're doing really, really well. Let me actually just quickly pop on over here and see how Glitch is doing with the most recent episode. The most recent episode has just been it's been a few hours, over a week since episode 2 premiered, Candy Carrier Chaos, and they are over 59 million views. That is incredible. That's already a lot of money in the bank for them. But here's another thing, is that that's only a week in. There is still plenty of time. The Amazing Digital Circus pilot continued to grow rapidly, even 2 months after it had premiered. Now, I don't know if episode 2 is going to reach 300 million plus views like the pilot, but there's a very good chance. I will be shocked if episode 2 does not go over the 100 million view mark. And what that actually says, from a market standpoint, is that the pilot wasn't just a one and done deal. It wasn't just something like people were like, oh, well, that's cool and shiny, I'm going to watch that, and then never comes back to it. This says that there is truly a very dedicated fan base, and a fan base that wants more. And that's what we got with the merchandise trailer. That was just that was like, yeah, let's talk merchandise. You know what? Let's actually watch that. Have you seen how many Gummy Goo memes there are? I can't escape it. Can't escape the Gummy Goo. It's true. Gummy Goo is everywhere. That guy stole our hearts. I love Gummy Goo. Maverick says Glitch is absolutely killing it lately. Even the recent merchandise trailer was already at 1 million views. So as it was uploaded, yeah, and it's growing rapidly. I can't wait for Gooseworx to traumatize the fan base with their existential horror. Speaking of existential horror, let's actually watch.
Guys, I set up a music.
If you haven't already seen this, let's just briefly enjoy before we transition to talking about reviews and criticism. Let's just enjoy this insanity. Again, they whipped this to either they knew just how much people were going to love Gummy Goo in preparation for this, or they slapped this all together within like 24, 48 hours. And it's still good.
Guys, I set up a musical adventure for you today, but the song starts at 12:30 and I didn't have time to write lyrics. You'll have to make up the lyrics on the spot or suffer a horrible punishment.
What punishment?
12:30!
Oh man. I love that the music is I am the very model of a modern major general, which is a tongue twister. I am the very model of a modern major general. I
can't sing without a script. This is a shampoo bottle.
The song Pomni!
Contains citric acid, sodium chloride, coca-beryl, propylbenzene, fumic acid, butyl-phenyl, methylpropional, magnesium.
Now then, that is what you're putting into your hair. I mean, I still do it. Because I'd rather put these awful things. I'd rather put all of these chemicals onto my head than live life scratchy and greasy. Yeah, this merchandise video is popular already, and it's only been up for a few hours. My worst nightmare improv. And yes, absolutely. And I don't know how much of this was necessarily improv. I like to hope that it was, and that the voice actors just absolutely rolled with it. It's as their character.
It sounds delicious. Methyl chloroisodiazolin and water. I'm super happy, never savvy when I have my happiness. Don't break it, Jax, don't break it, Jax, don't break it, Jax. That's all I ask. What?
Oh, poor Gangle.
Sorry, just eating a little banana.
Oh, Kinger, such wholesomeness. Eating bananas, leaving around peels. Has anyone actually ever slipped on a banana peel before, other than playing Super Mario Kart? Because I can never recall ever anyone pulling anything like that on me. Even in elementary school, where practical jokes were all the rage, I was given laxative that was disguised as chocolate raisins, and that's probably why most people actually avoid chocolate raisins, because everyone in their past, despite the fact that they don't want to admit it, got laxative covered in chocolate and it got passed off to them as a chocolate raisin. This summer of awful chemicals we eat, breathe, and put out the skin, yet people live more. Yes. Yeah, and it's like we are strong. Weirdly enough, if you took away all the chemicals that we live with on a daily basis, we would return to a world where you're lucky if you live to be 40 years old. Thanks to all the chemicals that we are constantly using throughout our life, we are able to live to 80 or 100 years old. I have once. I doubted that it was that slippery, so I tested it out. It was that slippery. Wow. ISO, thank you for sacrificing yourself in the name of science.
Sunny days and rainbows, getting hugs and petting kitty cats. When you feel down and in the mud, instead of frowning, do a silly dance. Take it away, Zooble.
We do not deserve Ragatha. That we absolutely do not. And I don't know what we'll do if we ever lose her. She was impaled and she came back. That's my girl.
This is stupid.
Boo! Come on! Let loose those angelic pipes, Zooble!
Zooble's power is
I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this. I want to believe, and maybe this will be confirmed, that all of the merchandise trailers for the Amazing Digital Circus are canon, in part because we've already seen from the pilot that Kane is selling items to the audience. Maybe so he's selling something to someone. So there's a very good chance that this is all canonical, and that is hilarious and horrifying all at the same time. Mimic, this commercial is legendary and hilarious. As soon as they sung, it instantly reminded me of that one scene in one of the Despicable Me movies. I think the one where the Minions sung the song. Oh, Despicable Me. I don't recall the Minions singing anything from Pirates of Possessed, but I have not seen the most recent Despicable Me movie, so that would be absolutely my bad if I don't recall it.
Terrible, that act was so unbearable. I'm super duper hoping that those limbs are not repairable.
Y'all know me as Kinger, but on the stage I'm singer. Gonna serenade you, baby, with my old Tony-winning singers.
Oh man, Kinger just has all these hidden skills. What is up with this guy? Who is Kinger? Or that if there's any one thing that I really want to know by the end of the series, I want to know Kinger's backstory. And I bet he's like the Übermensch, like the everything man. Kinger carried. Absolutely.
Ow.
All right, Pomni, let's bring this hootenanny home with a classic duet.
Gummy Goo?
Rocky!
Gummy Goo! Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're alive!
Rocky!
What?
Rocky! Down under!
Oh, it's so horrifying and so depressing. Poor Gummy Goo. I want a duet of Gummy Goo and Pomni singing, but crikey, we're not going to get it. We're just going to get hilarious Outback stereotypes. Yes, Hannah, it is indeed a skull and crossbones moment. We need more of his singing. Yes, we do need more of Kinger's singing. Yeah, Kinger's Old Man McGucket. Yeah, in the continuing conversation of who these characters are, I'm Old Man McGucket, spinning in a bucket. But here in the Amazing Digital Circus, I'm Kinger.
Congratulations! You completed your musical adventure! As your punishment, I am going to...
You completed it. Now as your punishment for anyone who has worked in the lower levels of any business. Yes, this is what it is. Management always gets the bonuses. Everyone else gets the crappy leftovers or nothing at all. In fact, your workload normally gets increased. Or if you're working retail like I have, they then start firing other people so that way they can then justify the bonuses given to the higher ups. And now you get to work more at the same sucky pay. That's why I don't want to work in retail again. Hey, Matterlad, you made it.
Mass produce you!
Wait, we're still being punished?
That's the thing about life, Pomni. Sometimes you get mass-produced. These scrum-diddly-umptious bumpkins.
Oh man, I wish I had the money to drop on all of these guys, and then I'd then have them hanging out with N and Uzi in my office. All right, so if you're good at your job, you're rewarded with more work. Yes, it is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. In two jobs, here's the thing: is that in two jobs I've had in the past, I have been actually put on the track for promotion. with it within the company. But I was just like, no, I don't really want to. Actually, for one job, I was like, ooh, that would have been nice, but it was not my career path. I did not want to be the manager of a loading dock. As much as I loved working on the loading docks, that was not where I saw myself going. And nor did I want to be a manager at a retail store. I was out the moment I got the chance. And Evan says, I need those babies. I need these babies. Yes, same here. I want Gummy Goo. I want Kane. I even want Jax. And keep them around. And if I ever have kids, be like, okay, little babies, these are yours. You're going to play with these. Mimic, that's okay. It was from Despicable Me 3. Okay, yeah, so I haven't seen that one. So I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't on your radar. I'm just fortunately young enough to remember. Hey, and that's fantastic. And they got the new Despicable Me movie coming out here pretty soon. So I guess I'll just have to catch up. Because it does look funny.
Could be yours today, along with this delicious sticker pack featuring all your favorite characters.
Don't
as
eat your stickers, kids.
Teeth-rotting treats. Your friend, the Gummy Goo keychain, in all his non-edible glory. Perfect for not eating. And this complete pin line,
you better
pinning all
believe
your
there's gonna be
favorite
some idiots
characters
who
in a
still try
line
to eat
together
Gummy
as they're
Goo
completely pinnable.
because they hate their teeth. Matter lad, I've actually gotten a friend of mine to idolize my voice acting today. Hey, and that's fantastic. Yes, may you have a career in voice acting, and may it go long, strong, and hard.
Selves in this completely pinnable complete pin line.
And me, Jax, the marketable vinyl figure. What can I say? People paying money to just admire me all day sounded like a sweet gig.
Right you are, Jax the marketable vinyl.
Yay. So there's the Jax marketing. Everything. Yeah, again, I have no idea how long it took them to slap all of this together, but I am impressed. This is the merchandising commercials that I would love to actually see on television, that I actually like, that I would not click away from if I was watching YouTube and then an advertisement came onto YouTube and I get to see this. Oh, I'm all there for it. This is advertising. This is the way that the kids should be advertised to. This is actually advertising that would even work on adults. Heck, I'm an adult. This works for me. Let's have more of it. I really don't know why, but I have such a hard time believing that Gru has his own biological kid. Don't question the cartoon physics, man. Marilat, I was on voice chat with other people working on a show and was doing voice impressions. Fantastic. Says, wait, links don't work here, dang. Yeah, and that's that in a way, that's a good thing, because if we didn't have that safety feature, oh boy, all of the bots that would come and try to get you to illicit sites, pornographic sites, and all that stuff would be unbearable. Well, we don't want any of that here. And so that's why StreamYard disables the ability to put StreamYard and YouTube disable the ability to put links here. If you do have a link, however, that you wish to share, you should be able to actually share it in the comments of this video. So that should work out for you, Mimic. If it doesn't work that way, you can always try to reach out to us in the community, on the community tab of our channel, and hopefully that will work. If not, we will figure things out. Hafiz, advertising just like in the 80s and 90s. The good old days. Exactly. The bagel's gonna eat me. Yes. One of these days for a live stream, we should just have a look at some of the old 90s old 90s commercials and just have a throwback. And just have fun watching this insanity. I was actually just talking with a friend of mine about a 90s commercial, which I've been hunting for years. I know it exists. It isn't a fever dream, but it was taken down super fast because it was too violent, quote unquote, where the Trix bunny in this Trix commercial came up with a plan for dropping the children who are supposed to get the cereal at the end of the commercial, dropping them from the second floor of the house into a trap at the basement. And the commercial then ends with the kids coming and erasing the plan off of the chalkboard and being like, "Oh, silly rabbit, Trix are for kids," and they already have his Trix cereal, and the rabbit's like, "No." And it was pulled down because it was too violent. And I've been trying to find it to prove to people like this was a thing. This was on the air for like a month. Yeah, Iconic is not here. It's not here. Hopefully they managed to make it. But if not, we shall miss them, and this stream will be up for people to watch. Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about criticism and reviews. One of the things that prompted me to bring this up, and this has been a while, and I don't want to spend too much time dunking on Shadiversity or Shad Brooks for what he published with Shadow of the Conqueror, but Shadow of the Conqueror got a lot of mixed reception. For the diehard fans of Shadiversity, they loved the book. And for other people, they thought that the book was just an absolute abomination and atrocity of bad writing. I actually was really interested in the series. I have right across from me, though you guys can't see it, I have my leather-bound copy of Shadow of the Conqueror, and I have the graphic novel for Shadow of the Conqueror. So I supported it wholeheartedly. I got my hands on it. I was excited to read it. I enjoyed about the first 30 pages, and then it was like a roller coaster ride where the highest point is where you begin, and then it's all just downhill from there. And there are some highs and some lows and some wraparounds, and there's some fun moments and other moments where it's like, what the heck? Mostly it was a what the heck am I reading? And by the end, I was so angry that I'd spent all this time reading this book. Gah! I was not kind to it in my review for Shadow of the Conqueror. I tried to be fair from one novice author to another, and I mean, it's great that Shad wrote a book, got it out there, because it's hard. So few people manage that within the writing community. Out of every 5 people who actually start writing, only 1 out of 5 will ever finish their story. And of that 1 out of 5, once you bring all of those people together, only a handful of them will ever get their books out onto the market and see any success. So, for Shad, I don't want to take that away from him. However, at the same time, let's be honest and say, in hopes that will actually help the author become better should they take those reviews seriously. That's the hope. So what we will be doing is we're going to look at some of my published books. I'm going to put myself on the chopping block and see what people have said or haven't said about my books. And we're then going to talk about what is good, what's a good critique, what is a good review, and what isn't. And no, that has absolutely nothing to do with whether I got 1 star or 5 stars on Amazon. It's more about what I, as the author, can actually take away from those reviews that can help me become a better author going forward. That's what it's all about. And that's why I want to help you guys discover for yourselves, like whether you are someone who's looking for criticism and for reviews for your own stories, or if you're someone who actually wants to give critique and reviews for other people, there is a better way of doing it that can be hopefully helpful and beneficial to whoever's receiving your feedback. So before I begin sharing my screen here, and we're going to have a look at some of the stuff, let me quickly catch up with what you guys have been saying. Mimic, yes! This commercial really reminds me a lot of the cool and hilarious commercials I saw growing up in the 2000s. Yep, the 90s and the early 2000s were just, peak, just fun, unadulterated fun television. Just got to say that, especially the 90s. Sonic, Intimate Insanity made their own 90s commercial. It was awesome. Episode is called Spring on the Breakfast. Oh, I have not heard of this. I should try to check that out. I honestly feel bad for Shad to write a book and have it be widely viewed as bad, kind of disheartening. And that is disheartening. It really is. And it definitely, and the thing is this, is I feel like he responded to it in the wrong way, trying to focus more on the positives and really like use the positives, pat yourself on the back and feel great, but take to heart what is useful criticism and then try to improve. That's what we want to see. Sonic and Mario, like the average Sonic game. Hopefully IGN didn't review you. I am not famous enough for IGN to review me, and I don't know what they would say. They might love some of my books. They might hate some of my books. Mimic. Oh yeah, and Japanese commercials are just as chaotic and hilarious. Yes. Oh my gosh. When I was a teacher, I loved traumatizing my students with the long man gum commercials out of Japan. They are so hilarious. They're amazing and chaotic, and they still are. I love Japan for that. Madeline, I'm writing a plot for a show, and I'm already stuck on episode 2. Hey, Madeline, if you want to break down a little bit more about that later on, like let's do that. Let's see if we can help you out any. ISO responded to the Madeline, LOL, that happened to me too. As soon as I found that one missing piece, I basically speed ran the plotting process, and I've climbed up to season 3, episode 2. Fantastic. Great to see that you're making progress, ISO, and that you've also been great with sharing so much of your progress with us here on the channel. And it's been absolutely great seeing you tackle problems head on, improving, growing. It's been great. Marilad, I don't know what the heck to do to the whole episode. So Marilad, formulate like some very like brief like pitches, bullet points of what you're dealing with, and we'll see what we can do to help you out once I've gone over these reviews, because I would definitely like to see what we can do to probably help you out and get you over that speed bump. Okay, so let me then start sharing my screen right here. I'm going to share, and we are going to all right. So you guys should now be seeing, hopefully, you guys should be seeing the Knights of Halley Cruise page. Nope, not yet. Let's see here. Select. Okay. Let's see here. How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? We're doing... Browser has blocked your screen. Click on the icon. Oh, please. Come on. This worked earlier when I was doing a run through. I'm going to try this again. Share screen. Okay. Select window or screen. We are doing the StreamYard. Okay, we're allowing, and we're moving on over. Hopefully, what does that do? We're getting a little bit messy right here. This is weird. This did not happen when I was doing my preview run through to make sure that all of this would be fine and dandy. But hey, here we are. Okay, then. So that aside. So here is the very first novel that I published. Knights of Halley Cruise, The Legend of the Ten Lords, Book 1 of 6. Woohoo! actually this book too, and it annoys the snot out of me because already there are actually more than 2 books out for this series. Well, okay then. My problems with Amazon aside, let's have a look at the ratings. 3.3 out of 5 stars. And when we slow down right here, okay then. So out of the 3 people who have taken the time to actually rate my work, thank you to them. 1 person gave me 4 stars, 2 people gave me 3 stars. Yay! Decent and middling. Okay then. So people thought that this was either a middling or decent fantasy book. Well, dang it. Where are the... Oh, okay, here we are. Now then, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have not read any of the reviews for my own books, at least right here. In part because I actually wanted to not sugarcoat anything. I did not want to have the bias of like, no, this is my book. I will edit what you are saying before I reveal it to other people. This is a chance for me to be completely honest, vulnerable, and get roasted. So let's talk about it right here. So here we've got Classy or C3. Well, let's see. Who knows? Who gave me a 3 out of 5 stars. So let's read this and let's see how I react. The bones of the story are there. Yes, it's got bones. You can tell the author pulls elements from other popular stories in an interesting way. There's a lot of potential here. The author needs an editor, and I agree. I will tell you guys this right off the bat. Get yourselves an editor. I did not do that for this book. I was like, I can do it all. If any of you know anything about Civil War history, I was like Little Mac. George B. McClellan. I can do it all. No, I can't. and the road to publishing this book was nothing short of a nightmare. So as a result, I absolutely believe that there's a lot of mistakes in this book. So the author needs an editor. The internal character dialogue can be difficult to read, though. It's very wordy. Yes, oh boy, it was. And I'm happy that I got out of this. I was writing this book when I was in grad school, where I had to write up a lot of academic papers. And so my very first novel, which is meant to be a fun fantasy book, in some places reads as an academic paper. Oh, that's embarrassing. It's very wordy, and because the author is obviously very excited about the details, which is great, there's nothing left to the imagination, and there are many typos. And I think autocorrect has done the author dirty. A lot of 2 when it should have been 2 or 2. Oh, yes, that can happen, and it's really embarrassing, but it does happen. I would also suggest the author do a little bit more research on specific topics because of very obvious issues with even how conversations flow. It can whiplash the reader out of the world in the book. Speaking of research and an editor, have a couple of women read through and give feedback. It feels like the women in the book are written from a man's perspective and what they should be, not who they are. This is such a good start and obviously a labor of love. The author needs to take a very editing eye or have someone willing to be a bit savage take a red pen. There's so much potential, but know when to stop over describing every single detail. Allow the reader to feel the emotions, the embarrassment, the pride, the hurt, sadness, frustration, etc., rather than explaining everything in great detail. It will help lure your reader deeper into the story. Again, this is all constructive. There's a good story here. It just needs to be given some edits and space to shine. Right there, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that is a good review. That is a good review. Yes, I got 3 out of 5 stars, and a little bit of it is embarrassing. But they are correct. And I love that they're not being like, oh, I'm just going to tear this apart. Well, I'm going to describe in great detail the things that were wrong. Instead, no, they're telling me what was wrong and what I could do to improve it, which is to get an editor. Yes, an editor should have been brought on board for this. I should have gotten down off of my high horse and definitely had someone just take the axe to my book, and that would have been really helpful. An interesting thing, though, is this. So to the point of it feels, I'll highlight this. It feels like the women in the book are in from a man's perspective of what they should be, not who they are. Should have been given to a couple of women to get a read through and give feedback. I actually got that. And the interesting thing is that the women that read this book are like A-okay. So that's an interesting bit of criticism, because I agree that you should try to, especially when you're writing women, and this is one of these things where, like, as I've actually talked about this on other videos on the channel, I've gotten whiplash from other people all like, what are you talking about? Writing women is so easy. Maybe if you're a girl, but if you're a guy, like I am, even if I grew up with 4 sisters, it doesn't mean that I am my sisters. It doesn't mean that I always saw things the way that they saw the world. And so trying to get a female perspective, try to write from a woman's perspective and put that into your story, that takes work. It does take criticism. It does take feedback. And yeah, so it's interesting. You won't always get it right. But if you try to do it, then things will improve. And as I've written the series, I can say that I have gotten better. I have gotten better. Is it the best thing I've ever written? I'll let other people decide that. Then we have one other review. This is the person who gave me 4 out of 5 stars. This is a highly engaging story in which regular teens are able to go into a world of dreams and shape it according to their imaginations and desires. The main characters feel very realistic and well developed. Interesting, because that goes against what the other person said. An author is going to be tempted to take what that, and again, I have not read any of this before. You can believe me or not, but but to have right here, like other authors will say, oh, someone said that my characters feel very realistic and well developed, and it's very easy to become invested in their struggles and goals. Yes, this person gets it. 4 stars, whatever this person, sesquipedalian, and they get it. They get it. But classy over here, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, doesn't. No. Instead, because again, I'm just going to say classy. C3L gave me fantastic feedback. That is good feedback. It was positive. It was in depth. It was it gave me something to strive for, to try to improve my own writing. Take that. Take that. Because that is someone who is saying, hey, look, I enjoyed your story, but I think you can take it to the next level. And if I could take my writing to the next level, then this person right here who gave me 4 stars might actually give me 5 stars, because I've improved my writing. So what they've given me a hearty pat on the back, and I will take that to the bank. But don't ever make that, or don't ever allow that to lead you to discounting good critical feedback. Feedback that is trying to help you improve your stories. That is probably one of the best lessons that I could give anyone. So continuing on, the main characters feel very realistic and well developed, and it's very easy to become invested in their struggles and their goals, both in the quote unquote real world and in the alternate realm of Halicruise. The world of Halicruise is very engagingly written, and it's easy to visualize as the characters travel through it and fight on its behalf. There are many different settings, and the author put equal care into all of them. The book ends with a startling reveal, which will see what happens in the next installment. Looking forward to the next book. Hey, I love that. That is a great review of like praise. That is the praise that me as an author, and really any other author, would be like, please give me more of it. That is the kind of stuff that, for instance, like when Shad is like, what do people really say about my story? This is the kind of stuff that when people slam you with like really harsh criticism, you go and you read this stuff to remind yourself you are an author and people do like what you're writing. But you come up to that 3 out of 5 star review, you read that and you say, I can still improve. What can I do to improve? So I hope that already my little bit of roasting right there, roasting of myself, helps you guys to see, hopefully see that lesson in action. Look for the critics, look for the feedback that are actually trying to help you to improve your book rather than highlighting everything that's wrong. When they highlight something that's wrong, they provide a solution or they provide a means by which you can find your own solution. That is what we want to see in good critical feedback. So then, let me see real quick again what some of you guys have been stating. We are going to go back to the whirlpool, and we're going to, oh my gosh, how do I stop this? There we go. Stop the screenplay. There we are. Okay, so let me quickly catch up with what I can about what you guys have been posting, and then we're going to hop back and have a look at some other stuff. Okay. So yeah, ISO is also offering you, Matterlad, some feedback, which is great. You definitely want to get feedback from as many people as possible. Mimic says, "Oh yeah, Mr. Lars, have you seen the trailers for the new movie If? It looks pretty interesting, and it was made by the same studio that made the Sonic movies. I have only seen the posters for If. I have not seen any of the trailers yet. It looks neat. At least the posters do. So I'll have to check it out. Bro, try watching a Paramount Plus is nearly impossible without an If commercial." Yeah, Paramount's very happy about that. Paramount also is begging for money because they're going bankrupt. Marilette says, "I'm doing this on a small production team, so I'll have to see with the others, but I'd be pretty happy if you could join us." Hey, fantastic. Networking is what we like to see here. Sonic says, "X Halo is a great storyteller and editor." All right. The Marilad says, "If I ask my friend how I do on things, he just says the most vague thing possible. I am screaming internally." Marilad, here is what I would suggest to try to get your friends to help you out a little bit. Say, "This is an issue, or I think it could be an issue. I need detail. Give me your thoughts in detail." And if that person cannot do that, take your question and your concern and go find someone else and just say, "Dude, we're going to work on your feedback abilities later. But for right now, let me fix this problem." Mimic, and they gave genuine constructive criticism rather than just straight up attacking you. And you expecting such criticism is very intelligent and professional of you, Mr. Lars. That's what I try. That's what I try to do. ISO, I'm definitely someone who would go through and search for 5-star reviews until I realize that that's what I'm doing, and then I'd go out of my way to look for the 2 to 0-star reviews. Which I will say this: the 0-star reviews aren't really going to give you much either. The 2 to 4-star ratings, I think that's definitely where you're going to find hopefully some good feedback that can help you improve. Tevin Daniels comes on, "Rip Gummy Gator." Yeah, oh, Gummy Gator, Gummy Goo, you live with us in our hearts. Mimic, it gives you even more motivation to improve on your craft and strive to make a story you want to make. Major respect to you. Thank you. And again, major respect to anyone who can face down their own criticism and really try to take it to heart. And here's the thing is that was my second book that I published. I know for a fact that I've grown since then, and I'm still growing. I'm still trying to improve. I'm right now working on the sequel to my book, Bleed, Steam, and Steel, and it's great seeing, as I'm writing, how I've improved as a writer. I love it. Will it be frustrating to people in the future to read one book and then go to the sequel and then realize that the sequel improved by leaps and bounds? Maybe, but I hope they still appreciate it. Sonic and Mario says, "This is something Disney fails to do. They don't listen to the fans who have good critiques that can make the movies better. Sega has finally started doing that and has gotten better. So has writers." Exactly. Listen to the critique, and you will learn through experience what is good and what isn't, and you will find the good criticism that is prompting you, trying to guide you as the creator to be better, and you can take that and in your own way, you put that feedback into practice, and you will improve dramatically. I was just at let's see here, ISO. I just recently asked a question on Reddit: "How to write a useless protagonist?" I got more than 50 helpful answers and like 2 people that said I was being cliche. Yeah, more people out there actually want others to succeed and be helpful Find those people that don't listen to the naysayers. Roblox is down. Great to have you here, Roblox. I find this very interesting, and I often find myself with the same problem that you mentioned, being the wordy writing because of the school situation you are in. With your teacher telling you to write better and more complex language, but people in the real world like it simple but good detail. Yes, it's so frustrating, Roblox. It's so incredibly frustrating. And one of the things that I've talked about in a previous video that I'll just briefly mention right here is the matter of the economics of words, which I know sounds big and vague. Woo! I came up with the term while studying J.R.R. Tolkien's works. And many times people are all like, oh my gosh, Tolkien just describes too much. Funny thing is this, if you actually bother like reading slowly through the Lord of the Rings books, what you will actually find is this, is that within the first 2 pages of the Fellowship of the Ring, we're flying. Oh my gosh, Tolkien has already told us so much, and characters are moving, the plot is developing, we've been introduced to some of our main people already, it's exciting, and it feels heavy. Oh my gosh, does it feel heavy? Because Tolkien is using precise descriptive words to convey with one word basically an entire sentence worth of description. That is like master tier level. That is something that people can only dream of getting to, and very few authors get to. Instead, what authors should strive to do is, I believe they should strive to either be like Brandon Sanderson, who figures out how to be wordy but in an exciting way, or to be like Brandon Mull, who is minimalist. Brandon Mull only describes the people and the things that he absolutely has to, and lets your imagination fill in the rest. Both are really fun to read, and I can tell you which one is faster to read. Brandon Mull. So the economy of words, figuring out how many words is the best way of telling the story that you want to tell and in the way you want to tell it. And that takes practice. Oh my gosh, does it take practice? And I'm still working on it. I am not a professional. I'm a novice. I'm still learning with you guys. But I'm here to report on what I've learned. Hannah, I wish someone would give me feedback. Hannah, that is why we are here. That's why Camille's Harem is here. If you ever want to share stuff with us, we are here to try to help you out and give you the feedback that you need. And if you need to reach out to us mano a mano, and we can set things on up. If needs be, people can get special links to the Discord server that we have, or Discord channel, and we try to work with people one-on-one there as we can, because we want to help other authors do the best that they can with their work. Hafiz says, good critics give specific, meanwhile bad critics give none. Boom, Hafiz, you're absolutely correct. You got it. Marilet, I think my friends give vague advice on purpose because it's funny to him, I think. I got no one else I can talk to about that stuff. Well, Marilet, that is, again, why we are here. We are here to help you out. And again, if you need to, if you can't get the advice or the help that you need here on a live stream, we can set it up for you to come on our Discord channel, and there you can post stuff, and then people can have their time to mull things on over, and we can see about helping you out. Mibik says, and when you've improved so much, you can look back and be proud of how far you've come as a writer and as a person, kind of looking back at old diary entries. Absolutely. Roblox, reading Shakespeare nearly killed me. Does to a lot of us. TV account, I know I'm a comic artist, but I always wonder how I work with dialogue and how to make it not too wordy. And TV account, it is about learning how to have real conversations. And I will say this, one of the things that made it hard for me to write dialogue for the longest time is because of my own speech impediment, which comes out every now and then on these live streams where you get to hear my stutter. But because in my life away from the screen for the longest time, especially looking back at school, I had a hard time communicating with a lot of people. I had a hard time connecting with people. As such, what is a conversation? I don't know what a conversation is. I've got conversations with myself in my head. Not exactly helpful for writing good conversations, good dialogue that other people can get lost in. So if you don't know how to write good dialogue, having the chance to talk with other people, to experiment a little bit with conversations, can be really helpful. Or you can go the Brandon Mull route, which is he establishes his different characters and he begins on his own, in a kind of awkwardly, to role play his characters, and he has conversations with himself and sounds absolutely insane. That can help you too. And I sometimes do that. Sometimes I'll go out on a walk in the desert where no one can see me, and I'll start having conversations with myself as my characters. Yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, it can be helpful. So I hope that works out for you, TV account. Sonic and Mario, I used to hate the Amazing Digital Circus because of the popularity over Murder Drones, but now I realize that without it, Murder Drones would be dead. Yeah, the Amazing Digital Circus pumped a whole lot of money into making Murder Drones Episode 7. Chef's kiss. I love Murder Drones. Murder Drones is going to be Murder Drones is what got me into Glitch. And Murder Drones is just phenomenal. But at the same time, I can absolutely appreciate and love the Amazing Digital Circus for what it is, as its own unique story. The Matterlad. I tried the Discord link on the channel homepage and the link never worked for me. Matterlad, what I want you to do is this. Once this stream has wrapped, I want you to go into the comments for this. Say you want the link. I will give you an updated link. The reason why the link doesn't work right now is because we got attacked by a bunch of trolls. And so we made an agreement. We made a deal as the Harem to be all like, okay, then no one actually gets the link until we have vetted that these people want to write and that they're not here to troll and to attack other people's works. Because that's what happened. People would come onto our Discord server hunting for novice authors to emotionally damage. And it was awful. And we were like, no, none of that. Nope. We shut that down, but so it meant then that fewer people could get onto our Discord channel as we would normally as we would have originally have wanted to have. And that's just the problem of dealing with internet trolls. So again, Matterlight, and really for any of you, because you guys have been here multiple times asking for feedback on your stories, asking for advice, go into the comments once the stream is done, post that you would like to have the Discord link, and we will and I will make sure that you get that, so that way you can come on in, and it will be a timed link, so that way if any other trolls come perusing, come prowling, they won't have the chance to jump on, and it will just be you guys with the rest of the other novice authors working with Camille's Harem, and it'll be grand. Mimic says, I'm sure my 30-year-old self is somewhere looking back at myself right now. He's probably cringing incredibly hard right now, but I'm sure in some way he's proud of me too. I'm currently 22. Hey, you know what? Your future self is the self that you should always be chasing. The better future self. Now it says, thanks, Sonic and Mario. I don't think it'll ever be better than Murder Drones, but I have mutual respect for it now that I realize that it's good. It's about the good it's done. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, there goes the stutter. Yeah, and again, no one is saying that you need to make one show or the other the absolute best. And if they are, you ignore them. You like what you like. And if you don't like something, that's okay. Just communicate well to people why you don't like it. And then leave it at that. All right, let's get back to let's get back to having a look at some reviews and critique. So I'll be sharing my screen again. Yeah. All right. Tumble Teller. Okay, then. Let's see here. Make sure that you guys can actually see Tumble Teller. I hope. Is it not showing? Doesn't look like it's showing. That's annoying. Oh, come on. Yes, allow it. Okay. All right, there we go. Hopefully now you guys will be able to see that. You can see the page. This is frustrating that it's like this, because it wasn't like this when I did my setup. Okay, so here we go. Tumble Teller. This is a book with a 4.3 star rating, and it has 4 ratings. So I'll do or 5, I should say. Woo. Wait, no. Let's. Why is it 30? That should be. It was 5 people. No, because then it would be whatever. In any case, 30% of the people looking at this out of 4, I guess. That doesn't make any sense. Should then be 25%, 75%. Amazon, how do you do math? In any case, 1 person gave it 5 stars, 3 other people gave it 4 stars. That's awesome. Hey, so let's have a look to see if they gave me anything to work with. Oh, there's the sequel to Knights of Halicruise. That has 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so let's see here. What have people said? And again, I'm going into this pretty blind. I know I actually did read one beforehand, and that's kind of what gave me the idea of no. I'm not going to read any of these, any others until we do the live stream. So right here we have Lotus Will, who gave me 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you, Lotus Will. I picked up this book for the distinctiveness of a story told through a dragon's perspective and didn't expect to find a rather unique premise instead. Miku Lyrian, an aspiring dragon performer and writer with a story of a dragon heroine to share and a debut solo performance to prepare for. While I'm not a writer, nor do I strive to be one, reading snippets of Miku's work in progress along with writing tips or novice doubts was highly entertaining and made me think of and appreciate more the hard work writers, traditional or self-published, are putting into their stories. Thank you, Lotus Will. That was what I was hoping someone would get out of the story. Miku, the story of Tumblteller, is just as described right there in this review, of a young performing dragon who wants to become a famous performer and have her works, quote unquote, published by the other dragons of her guild. She is part of a storytelling guild called the Stormweavers. And the Stormweavers take the most popular stories that their performers come up with, and they cast these amazing spells through which then they can push the story that this dragon has written and have it go through the skies. So that way everyone across the planet of Draconia can see your story. It's like a movie, but in the clouds. And that's Miku's dream. And we get to see her struggling along with that dream, trying to make it happen, along with all these other things that are going on. I loved writing this book because it's my love letter to novice authors, as a novice author to other novice authors. Let's see here. To what sense, Lotus Will says, while I think this book could still use some more editing to fix the occasional but distracting misspelling and missing or redundant words, it's a great start of a journey into Draconia. Its world building, locale and geography, historical figures and events, unique phenomena such as God's Guilt was a novel one to me, are very interesting. I hope to see more sequels or offshoots taking place in this peculiar world in the future. And I definitely want to do that. I wrote Tumblteller also in part because the book that I've been trying to write for years now, Whitefire, which is supposed to take place in the same world, has been ground to a screeching halt. It's been such a hard novel to write. And so I wrote Tumblteller as a means of distracting myself and trying to get into this world through a back door. And it was fun. Then we have a Kindle customer right here. No name, just Kindle customer. Huzzah. 4 out of 5 stars. Well, that's always nice. I think the world building was what put this book over the top for me. I was interested in reading this book as it had an interesting premise. A dragon storyteller tries to make her first big performance a showstopper. I found myself relating a lot to Miku Lyrian and her efforts to get her artistry noticed. And I love that. That makes me so happy to read that right here, because this is something that I've tried to talk to other writers about, making characters relatable. It does not matter what your character looks like or necessarily who they are so long as there are elements of their journey and of their personality that someone can say, I know that. Either I know that person, or that fictional character reminds me of myself, or it reminds me of something that I've been through. I am not a female performing dragon on another planet. I am a storyteller, And as such, that's my connection to Miko Lyrian. Huzzah! She wants so desperately to be a good storyteller and to be an asset to her. I believe that judge your stories and to have them be good enough to possibly get you another performance down the line. The concept of Tumble Teller is a kind of all-in-one performer that uses magic, puppeteering, music, and their storyteller training to entertain and delight the masses. The way that Lars sprinkles in bits of greater scope of Draconia kept me coming back to see where it would all lead. I also felt like Lars took the time to consider how a dragon would move and interact in this world. It's the small details that help sell the story being told from a dragon's perspective, like balancing on her tail in a juggling act. I did feel as though the ending wrapped up a bit too quickly, and I absolutely understand that, especially the implications that are given in the last couple chapters, but hope to see more in this setting from this author in the future. I am happy to see that someone else was like, I think the ending is a little bit too quick. That was one of my biggest concerns going forward with publishing the book, was that I feared that I was wrapping up a little bit too hastily. Part of that came about because I was trying to constrain myself to no more than 40,000 words. I did not want to breach that because I wanted it to be a true novella. I did not want a pseudo novella. I wanted a true novella. So I really had to squeeze myself for like the economy of words. Only say what you want to say. The problem with Miko Lyrian's story is that it's so big that there's so much that was left on the cutting room floor. And there's one act in the book that honestly I could have taken out. Like, it would have been a darling. It would be the ultimate example of me killing a darling. And I'll even tell you what it is. There's a part in the book where Miko Lyrian is doing a warm-up performance. She's warming up her audience to her big solo display. And so to do that, because she knows that a lot of the people in her audience are children, young dragons, young humans, young dragonborn, she decides that she's going to tell a very funny kidsy story. So what I did was I took the story of Max and Moritz, which is a fantastic German, not exactly fairy tale, but it kind of borders on a fairy tale type of a story of two naughty boys who are just devils to their town and do all these awful things until the miller kills them. And it's great. Kill the children. Max and Moritz is a great story. And so I decided to adapt Max and Moritz and make it applicable to a world of dragons. If I'm going to be harsh with myself as the author, I could have cut that scene. If I had cut that scene, it would have given me enough space to wrap up the ending better. So I will be honest with myself right there. That is great criticism and feedback and great reception. Gotta drink some water. All right. Then let's see here. This is the last review that I have right here. And this is from Pierre K, who gave me 4 out of 5 stars. It starts like a slice of life of an apprentice bard with intertwined bouts of the stories she works on, dealing with the challenges of storytelling and authoring, their doubts. Then by the second half, it expands further with the larger plots. I enjoyed both Miko Lyrian's character, who's well-delivered and endearing, and the many elements of the world building always coming in context without info dumping. Yes, Pierre, I did it! Oh, it's so hard to not info dump. Everyone knows you shouldn't info dump, but it's so dang easy to info dump, and even professional authors info dump all the time. It's a constant struggle. And so, yes. Again, trying to constrain myself to only 40,000 words helped with avoiding the info dumping. I had to get creative. Those hint at an interesting setup of world and history where marching civilization and brutal conflicts mix into a promising lore. The story manages to show both grim aspects of its world and a hopeful expectations, yet become neither dark or naive. That's deeper than I ever intended, and I love that the reader saw that for themselves. The story ending, while this would work as a standalone, is open to a sequel that I'd be glad to see. Editing is not perfect, but the little mistakes are not hindering the read. They're even hardly annoying unless one decides to be annoyed by them. Hey, that's nice. But then one must be annoyed at a lot of other things. Most importantly, the delivery of the story is competently done. Thank you, Pierre K. And again, that's good. And again, editing is not perfect. And it's definitely something that I could probably go back. And actually, I do intend to go back and do another edit of Tumble Teller sometime down the road to try to fix whatever little mistakes might be in there, because it's such a good book. And it's something that I don't want just some small mistake to be the fly in the ointment or the fly in the soup that ruins it for someone otherwise. Because it's such a fun story. And hopefully, if you haven't read it and you've seen these positive reviews, like, this is fantastic. This is right here. Like, if I have a bad day, I might just come back and reread these and be like, I am a good writer. I am a good writer. I can just get better. Now then, let's compare that to, hopefully you guys can now see the Monarch Mercenaries pop up on the screen. I'm hoping. Okay, there we go. It's up and good. So the Monarch Mercenaries. This is a book that I just released last year. This is a book that I enjoyed writing. I did not enjoy the first draft. I scrapped the whole book. I rewrote the whole dang thing. Because the first draft sucks. I rewrote the whole book and came up with this beaut. So what do people have to say? Nothing. I have no reviews. When you as an author put so much love and devotion into a story, and you're just like, the art, like, that's a great cover right there, and it's a cool title, The Monarch Mercenaries. And a premise of space pirates doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, like once the greatest, most respected crew in the pirate city of autonomy, the Monarch Mercenaries, have fallen from grace. In a desperate bid to redeem his crew, Captain Carsonius will go to the ends of the universe and break every rule. So begins a quest of piracy to impossible worlds, with insane scallywags and a variety of aliens you can only begin to imagine. But can Carsonius bear the cost of redemption? So there we go. There's my hook. It looks great. No reviews. When this happens, I will say this. If you don't get reviews on your story, don't take that as, oh, the story sucked. You have to ask yourself, even if no one buys a copy of my book or no one watches my show, which would suck because of all the time and effort that went into it, can I still be happy doing what I'm doing? Is this still what I want to do? And if the answer is yes, then it's okay. It hurts, but you can still keep on going. That's the most important thing. Now then, let's have a look at Bleed, Steam, and Steel. So I did look, and again, just like with Amazon, there are no ratings for this book. My writing group says that this is their favorite book of all the books that I have written. And so I went looking. One person said that there was a review that was on Goodreads. I come onto Goodreads, and I see no reviews. Sigh. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. So again, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you love to do it, so continue doing it. And at least my writing group really loves the book. I hope other people will one day love the book too. Now then, let me then show you the troll book. Sandwich Desperados. So, a little bit of backstory behind this because some of you might look and be like, this book has 5 out of 5 stars. Granted, only 2 people have reviewed it, but it's got 5 out of 5 stars. Lars, that's your best book. Let me be honest with you. The Sandwich Desperados is a book that I wrote as a spoof. I wrote it really quickly This book got almost no editing. There's so many mistakes in it. It honestly is a bad book. I wrote it because I wanted a throwaway book that would help me get the handle on setting up a book for Kindle and Amazon. Because there is a setup process. There's no one to walk you through it. You have to figure it out on your own. This was my throwaway book. If this turned out bad, I didn't have to feel bad about myself because, hey, because I didn't care. So here it is. Alex Brown is a guy with big dreams stuck in a small-time sandwich job. That all changes when 3 angels walk through the store's front doors. Plucking up his courage and taking a challenge, Alex is instantly hurled into the world of underground racing. However, this isn't your typical Fast and Furious setup. The grease monkeys are Hicks, Vin Diesel is short and sports a beard, and the most dangerous track is the go-kart track. Alex has to learn how to drive a manual, control his temper and his speed, and somehow remember those angels' names before the rubber hits the road in the most dangerous race west of the Mississippi, the Tucson Sidewinder. Strap on your seatbelts because this is going to be a wild ride. Now, this is an absolutely ridiculous book. If you want to read it, go ahead. You will laugh a ton because it's written really poorly and the story is hilarious. The whole thing is really tongue-in-cheek. This book makes fun of obviously the Fast and the Furious, but it also pulls on my own experience as a sandwich delivery guy for Jimmy John's. And so there's a lot of inside jokes poking fun at Jimmy John's. And also there was a time where my side of town had tons of illegal street racing. The underground street racing scene in Tucson used to be horrible. So many races, so many accidents. And so I drew a lot on those experiences as well, and came up with the story. So it seems as if it was well received, 5 out of 5 stars, but no reviews, no one to tell me what they liked, what they didn't like, if it was even any good. And because I know that the story is poorly written, what does this say? Does this say that I should just throw caution to the wind and just write a bunch of spoofs and hope that people really love it? Maybe that's my calling in life, is to write a bunch of spoofs. So there you have it. Dealing with no criticism, dealing with the positive criticism. Don't let the praise get to your head. And when you get fantastic reviews, actually see if someone has left anything. And be honest about your own work. Okay, let's stop the screen sharing right there. Okay. So let me then try to catch up with you guys. I know that a lot of you have been writing a lot of stuff, so I apologize if I am running behind right here. Okay. Roblox is down. Lars, it's not insanity to talk to yourself if it's to write your book. It's not insanity to talk to yourself if it's to write a book for other people, right? Right. Yeah, it's not insanity to talk to yourself so long as you're doing that. Marlad, thanks. Okay, thanks. That makes sense. Sonic and Mario, I don't think you'll ever be better than Murder Drones. Okay, yeah, we've already had a look at that. Marlad, the kids are really going to get traumatized after episode 3 of the Amazing Digital Circus. That is, if we can believe Gooseworx's tweets. I saw those. And yeah, it was spooky, and it was fun, and I'm so excited for episode 3. Good. Maybe kids will stop watching Gen Alpha content about it. Stop the content farming. TV accounts. I think people miss the point of the Amazing Digital Circus is that it helps draw new fans to Glitch and check out their other works like Meta Runner. Yeah, Meta Runner has been getting a whole lot more views than it once did. I recall seeing how few views Meta Runner used to have, and now it's getting more views, and that's fantastic. TV Council, thanks for the input on talking to myself to get the dialogue scenes. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully it goes over well. And again, if you need other people to comment on dialogue, always feel free to share with us or to share with other people who might be interested in helping you out. Sonic and Mario agreed. TV, although I haven't been interested in other shows besides Murder Drones and the Digital Circus. Yeah, it's because there's just not a whole lot that's really all that interesting. Curse you, Hollywood, for dropping the ball. And for getting rid of all the good shows. Mimic, it's I like how it's from the dragon's perspective rather than the dragon trainer's perspective. Nice, Mr. Lars. P.S. And how cool that we're currently in the year of the dragon too. I know, year of the dragon. And I just really enjoyed writing Miku Lyrian and putting in the dragon's perspective. I will admit, I did get some inspiration from reading Wings of Fire, but while reading Wings of Fire, I was like, these dragons are too surface level. I love getting the dragon's perspective, but I want more. And when I read Fablehaven and Dragon Watch from Brandon Mole, I was like, I love these dragons. They're so engaging. They're so creative, but I want from their perspective. What are they thinking? What's going through their heads? Because otherwise they're just these unknowable monsters. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the idea of dragon perspectives and merge them with the creativity of Dragon Watch and Fablehaven, but then put my own spin on it. And the world of Draconia, oh my gosh, I could gush for hours about that world. It's silly because I know the world, I know the characters, I know the story. It's just writing White Fire is so hard. And it's because it's so big. It's so big, and I just have to accept that I won't get everything in that I want to get in and just write what is important. Hafiz, I always wanted to write a post-apocalypse fantasy world. Breath of the Wild really inspired me. That's fantastic. Yeah, and Breath of the Wild is a very inspiring game. And definitely, Hafiz, like, go and write that. Come up with your own post-apocalyptic fantasy and just have fun. Be wild with it. Sonic says, anyway, I got to go now. So goodbye, good morning, good day, good night, afternoon. Hey, Sonic and Mario, thank you so much for being here with us. It was great having your comments as always. Roblox is down. I think you nailed the story being based on German. Max und Moritz. Such a great story. Mimic, info dumping is trauma dumping in the writing author world. It absolutely is. ISO chapter 7 of my own book might be an info dump, but I'm trying so hard to make it only relevant information. I get what you mean. It is so tough that 3,000 words, that 3,000 words, this chapter of plot building. Silent Lars, piracy. Oh, it cut off. Oh my gosh, did it cut off? That's annoying. Yeah, I'm still here, man. That's weird. I think if anyone lost the feed, maybe that was me. Maybe that was me. Maybe because it's like Goodreads is like, no, don't you dare be on our site. Who? Oh well, I'll just have this playing for right now, as we then begin to transition on over again to the Amazing Digital Circus to wrap up. But yeah, so ISO, actually coming to your thing about 3,000 words. So right now, as I'm writing the intro to my sequel for Bleed, Steam, and Steel, there's so much that I want to say. And one of the things that I actually realized, I went on a walk earlier today to just kind of like think things through. And I realized I can actually put some of the information that I was planning on the first chapter and put it elsewhere, and it will still actually be relevant. Focus on the relevant information, focus on the action, on the characters. There will be time to get to that information later. If you're like, wait, Lars, but this info dump is very relevant to what's about to happen, then I would say take that information and try to sprinkle it out over various chapters before the big action. Let the action bring all the information together and show why it's important, why it's relevant. And I think that will go over really well for you. Tevin says, the editing of my first short story is going well, so now I'm writing the first draft of my congratulations. I hope everything's going well. Let's see here. I says that the audio was working out well. That's good. I'm sorry that it was giving you troubles there, Mibik. Tevin says, I'll be ready. I'll read your books next after I finish my backlog. Hey, I understand. Got your priorities. Roblox is down. You should write a book about no reviews. So the person, whether that is an author, actor, etc., is paranoid on how people think of their book or performance, but no one will tell them. So they're also too scared to ask because of the chance of the harsh feedback. Anyone can take the idea. Roblox, that's a fantastic idea. That could be a great novel, or I'd say novella. That's a great novella idea, or maybe even a great short story idea. All right. So maybe he's able to reload and get things back together. Fantastic. Lover of Wolf says, I love MetaRunner. TV account, I think Gooseworx is experimenting with death of the author in secret. Oh. My lad, anything I missed? I was gone for a bit. Yeah, it was kind of Dragon Tales, but for adults. Freaking love Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales was a fun show. And Marlad, you missed us. I think just going over, well, you missed me talking about my books and the reviews or the lack thereof. Hannah Heaven says, sorry, Discord, keep thinking I'm a robot. And when I try to prove them, they give me some stupid image that looks like an AI. I won't get my project feedback from you. Oh, man. Well, Hannah, we'll try to figure it out. We'll try to figure this out so we can give you some good help. Roblox is down. A good area for info dumping is when the characters unravel a massive plot point. Yeah, actually, one of the coolest info dumps. I said, like, read Angels and Demons or the Da Vinci Code. Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code are masterclasses in making info dumps interesting. And that's because of all the action that's happening or because of how relevant that information is after the audience and the characters for so long throughout the story. Then the info dump, you're just like gobble up because like, I need these answers. Mivik says, yep, I agree. Action speaks louder than words after all. Indeed they do. Okay, so to wrap up this stream, because we're going actually way longer than I expected. That's the way that these always go, don't they? I'm missing Ruben's here to constantly be dropping reminders of that. What I want to do is I want to talk about really the controversy about Jax. In the latest episode, and this was also brought up earlier in the chat, about how Gooseworx is like, I'm excited to see how the Jax fan base reacts to seeing how he's just a jerk. And there's no denying that he's a jerk, but let's actually have a look and see what is happening with this jerky character. Why he is portrayed the way that he is in this episode. So I just took chunks of the episode that have Jax in them, and we'll take a look and we'll discuss how you can make a character purposefully annoying and awful, and yet still make them relevant and likable. And I mean, it is easier with visual media because then you can have Michael Kovac's amazing voice to your benefit, as well as character design to help endear the audience to the character. When it comes to writing, man, you got to be strong with those descriptions and quick with the comments that the characters are making. So right here, so we're going to get the reminder that Jax is a jerk from Pomni's Nightmare. Went a little bit too far.
I guess we're not all cut out for it.
I don't even remember her name, honestly.
All right, so we have the nightmare that Pomni experiences, which gives us her perception of these characters. Ragatha secretly not liking her, which is we're going to see throughout the rest of the episode. Ragatha does, which endears us to Ragatha. Cain as being this uncaring god, which, as we come to realize, like, oh, Cain is Cain. He's not like he's uncaring. It's more that he doesn't really understand how he's supposed to do his job. Jax, on the other hand, yeah, he's a jerk. Mick says, I always love these kinds of streams. It feels like I'm in a class, and for free too, with no student loans or debt included. And I learn a lot as well. I thank you, Mimic. I try to do that. Being as someone who was a teacher for 4 years, like when we have these opportunities, yeah, sure, we can just shoot the breeze, but I do want it to be educational. And the way that I taught my classes was I tried to be informal, but still have a goal and lead people through to that goal. So I try my best to bring that into the streams and the videos that I do. Now then, let's skip on ahead.
Kingdom's awesome, by the way.
Bubble, you can't say that.
No.
Silver, wait! I'm testing out a new AI in this one. It should be 57 times more immersive.
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby.
So again, reestablishing that Jax here is a jerk, and again, you're free to not like him, or you are free to like him. Having again Michael Kovac be the voice actor really helps with Jax to just convey that snark and just that low voice level snark. It's not over the top, which I think actually makes him way more palatable. If he was more in your face to the characters or to the audience, he would be absolutely unbearable. But they don't go full jerk. And this is something that actually can be very difficult as an author. With one of the books that I've written, I wanted to make a character truly monstrous. And I succeeded, but I made her too monstrous. My readers said, like it's too much. It's so hard to like her because she's meant to be a protagonist later on, but you made her too vile. And so I don't want her to be redeemed. And so I had to tone down a lot of the monstrosity that I was trying to give this character. And with Jax, that's kind of what I see right here. They want Jax to obviously be a jerk, but if they push it too far, then people won't like him. And there's so many people that do like him, and that comes down to them balancing his jerkiness just right. Roblox is down, says, Jax is what I would be without my morals. Oh, those pesky morals.
Yeah, no. Well, sounds fun. What do you think, Pomni? Yes, ma'am. Your kingdom's awesome, by the way. Love the vibe. I like you already. Look, Pomni, we're already friends with the princess.
I'm not a child. You don't have to hype me up.
I guess.
Oh, poor Pomni. Medic says Kane is just Kane, though I still have major beef with him after Gummy Goo's death. P.S. I'm actually surprised Kane isn't currently getting as much hate as Jax in that sense. I know. Oh, I think it's because we see Jax more often on the screen than we do Kane. And Kane is lovable in his own overbearing way, which is an art in and of itself. And I'll make a comparison to another character that I wrote for Bob the Virus, who is in Knights of Halley Cruz, and then in the other novels, The Dark Rebellion and The Marauding Empire. There are times where you just say, screw it, pedal to the metal, and you're getting everything about this character. But then you turn it off real quick. So that way you like blast in your audience's face. This character is just everything. It's so overwhelming. And then you take that character away. Kane poofs away, so that way he's not too much. Or in the case of Bob the Virus, we have a chapter cut and we go to another character. So that way he does not overstay his welcome. Because otherwise he would be way too much. And because Jax is on screen so often, you can't make him too much of a jerk. Otherwise it would be too much. So you have to tone down the jerkiness. With Kane is just too much to handle. He is so over-exuberant, naive, destructive, and hilarious. And you could not take him for more than a couple of minutes at a time. So you only give us the briefest moments of Kane. Otherwise, he would just be too much. ISO, something interesting that I noticed about Kane so far, the only times he's ever gone into his dark, spooky mode was when he didn't know something. ISO, you're absolutely right. And that is definitely something that we'll have to speculate in a future video about. We don't venture out into the void. Not even I know what's out there. If I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Exactly. He doesn't know. It's terrifying. TV account. I remember a roundtable theory saying the circus game would be like the train from Infinity Train. It was interesting. That would be an interesting theory to see, because Infinity Train is definitely doing its own shtick. And Infinity Train. Infinity Train got such a raw deal. Roblox is down. Not gonna lie, Gummy Goo felt boring. When I was watching episode 2 for the first time, I thought he was like Tessa Thompson with his tone never changing, but at least the animators make him look the part. And you know what, Roblox, I can see that. Like, definitely on like my third rewatch of the episode, Gummy Goo didn't hit quite as hard, but Gummy Goo's relationship to Pomni and what he brings out from Pomni, that I believe is still special, even multiple views later. So I'll give you that Gummy Goo might not be your cup of tea, and he might not actually be all that exciting when you step back for a moment. But the relationship that they're able to tease out between him and Pomni and what they're able to do with Pomni as a result was definitely. Mimic, everyone hating Jax for being a brat, even though he was already established in the first episode, and yet they're completely ignoring the fact that Kane killed the best character in our faces.
Soon you've been informed of your mission. The bandits that robbed us use a modded syrup tanky back into the kingdom for when you've secured the goods. I trust you not to let it fall into the wrong hands.
You can count on me, Your Highness.
Jax is like, I'm going to steal that key.
Will do,
You better believe it.
Shotgun.
I call shotgun.
Oh God, is that the horn? That sucks. Gangle, you drive.
Farewell, good night.
Now then, already right here, this is my personal theory, and I might be proven wrong as the series goes on, but it's moments like these with Jax that make me believe that part of Jax's jerkiness is his response to the digital circus. Because they're all prisoners within the circus. It's effectively torture in there. And each character has reacted differently to this existential crisis of being stuck in a game and of not being able to escape, and basically having their brain stimulated to give them the feeling of sleep and eating when really none of that's actually happening. And so that's torture. And Jax, I believe, is responding to it in his jerky way, because this gives him a semblance of control. It gives him a semblance of fun. And that's something that he can use to distract himself from the continual nightmare that he's stuck in. Mimic, rest in peace, Gummy Goo, and Tesla Thompson, both amazing characters and taken way too soon. I miss Tessa. I miss my Aussie girls so much. And they're both Aussies. Stop killing the Aussies. Roblox is down. Now that I think of it, Glitch has a thing with not showing mass murder. Glitch has a thing with not showing mass murder on their shows. First, they took the Elliot Massacre from us, and now the slaughter of the Candy Kingdom. How awful. Yes, the implied horror, though I will say this, I think that the implied horror is actually funnier and more horrifying than if we had actually seen it. And that's one of the aspects of horror. Seeing the monster or seeing the thing that's stalking you, that's spooking you, always eventually breaks the mystery. Very, very few monsters and villains in horror have avoided that pitfall. And so by not showing us those things, I think that that Glitch is actually being pretty smart. Would I like to see it? Yes, especially Fudge attacking the kingdom. Oh my gosh, that's just so horrifying and hilarious to think about. No, I believe it was the right call on their part.
I have every faith in you.
Now Fizz agrees that you probably act like Jax in that same situation. Yep.
All right, Gangle. When we catch up to him,
So-
I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot him repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
until they're unrecognizable. So here we have Murder Hobo Jax, which kind of makes sense. If you're going to be stuck in a game and you're given the opportunity to vent your frustrations, to exhibit some form of control and power, why not go Murder Hobo? And actually, like speaking as someone who's played some really harsh campaigns in Dungeons and Dragons, like the temptation to go full Murder Hobo is absolutely there, because you just want revenge on this world that is treating you this way. And then of course there's games like Elden Ring, which just encourages you to go around slaughtering everyone. Classic NPC killer behavior. Yeah.
I feel like that violates some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver.
Oh, Pomni, I'm sure there's some way you could help out here. Maybe
So
when we
yes,
catch up
Jax
to them,
is
we
pushing
could...
around
assertive.
Gangle.
Like this.
And then we get that.
Jax!
Okay, then. So this is one of those moments where people are all like, he took Pomni by the neck and threw her out. It's him being, it's the writers exhibiting that he's a jerk, being goofy. It plays into his character. He didn't throw Pomni out the window for no good reason. He sends her flying so that way he can do what he wants to do. There's a purpose behind his jerkiness. He's not being a jerk just for the sake of being a jerk. If he was just a jerk for the sake of being a jerk, then yeah, he would be a whole lot less likable. But as we watch the scene progress, he actually has a plan in mind. There's things that he wants to do. He's just using everyone else as the stepping stones to his murder hobo-ness. Visit the Cloud District often? No, I'm saying you don't.
Ah, that's perfect. Just hold that pose. I gotta get something. I swear there was some kind of bazooka back here, but I'm having such trouble finding it.
Pomni, take this!
Now he's just...
Here it is. All right, Pomni, you just stay like that, and I'll cross it.
No, I don't want to click back there. Dang it. Now I gotta go back. So Jax...
Up and at him.
Okay, so... So Jax taking his time to get the bazooka is again him just being a jerk, and it's obviously in this case to be funny. And I think that sometimes we lose track of moments that are just meant to be funny in a story, as opposed to moments that are meant to display character. Jax's character is on full display. From this point on, everything else is meant to be a joke, and it's meant to riff on the Mad Max franchise, and they do a fantastic job of it. TV account. What's a murder hobo? A murder hobo is a gaming term for players who don't really play the story. They are not in it to enjoy the game. They don't have a home. Why? Because they just murder their way through. In D&D, these are the people who just murder all of the Dungeon Master's NPCs. They don't care. They're out to win the game. In stuff like Grand Theft Auto, Elden Ring, being a murder hobo is like, I don't care about the quest lines. I just care about causing chaos and destruction. A murder hobo is just someone who is playing the game to rack up the kill count. That's a murder hobo. Mimic, yes, everyone reacts differently to the circus, and Jax being completely crazed and chaos hungry makes perfect sense. Remember, he's 22 in a creepy, weird simulation. You can't blame him. Yeah, like, again, it's understandable. And if you know a lot of 22-year-old guys, yeah, Jax would fit that pretty well.
Perfect. Just hold that pose. I gotta get something. I swear there was some kind of bazooka back here, but I'm having such trouble finding it.
I actually do want to know what she called them. Oh,
here it is. All right, Pomni, you just stay like that, and I'll cross over. Nice going, Pomni. Now I have no bridge.
Gotcha!
So again, all of this, from this point on, is just meant to be funny. Yeah, and so people who rat too much on Jax at this point for being a jerk, it's like it's already been established. This is all just for jokes, for kicks and giggles. And if it's not funny to you, that's actually okay, because humor is subjective. But understand this: there's always the butt of a joke. Humor is always about putting someone else or something else down. That is humor. So who is the butt of the joke? It's everyone else in this. Everyone else is the butt of Jax's joke going throughout the rest of the scene.
The arms aren't long enough.
Jack shot his way to my heart with that gun.
This lot's trouble. Let's see how that rig does on those rocks around there. My arms aren't short enough to shift the gear.
Up and at him.
I don't think we...
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable? Move it!
Jax is the ultimate class clown. Yeah, having students who are class clowns, that definitely fits.
Oh, these fellas just don't know when to quit, do they? Hey, quit mucking about and get back up here!
Oh yeah, right.
Everyone all
I can
right?
climb it this whole time.
Repeat the question. I couldn't hear you over the knives.
Hey, Gangle. You should ram into him.
You should not ram them. Tommy's still on board.
Good, it'll be epic.
There's so many knives back here.
I need to see you actually use that gun.
Figurine thing.
So yeah, so there we go. So we get then all of the jokes. So on before we get copyright struck by glitch, which they probably won't do, but hey, just in case.
Dude, we're not candy.
So then here's the next jerk scene from Jax. Let's have a moments before disaster. Do it. It'll be epic. Yes, I have been there. I have been that person. Both the person encouraging the epicness that turned to disaster and being the person who did the epicness that turned into disaster. Why is there so many knives back here? That's what I want to know.
This gift from within the kingdom gates. Don't mind if I do.
Whoa, buddy. We're not food. We're not candy. We're none of that. You don't want to eat us.
Oh, not candy? How am I expected to eat something that's not made of candy? I'm sorry.
Part of me always seems to miss the big loopy monsters.
Who are you, anyway?
I am the Fudge. I used to live within the kingdom walls, but I was banished by that rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious townfolk. Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling to me.
So again, a joke. And if you know the movie Raggedy Ann and Andy, you know what is being referenced right here. The Greedy from the Taffy Pit. That scene is horrifying. And I fully intend on incorporating that scene into a future video. It's going to be great. My 12-year-old brother, how am I supposed to eat something that's not candy? Eat you. Why not? Oh, and again, if you watch the Raggedy Ann and Andy movie, the Greedy is eating himself throughout the entire scene. It is supremely disturbing. Why are there so many knives and 8 packs of fentanyl back here? Because the Chinese Communist Party put it back there. Wait, what?
Oh, God. That just sounds like murder.
Is it really murder if it's delicious? Answer me that.
You make a great point.
No.
And so, right, as the murder hobo meets his meal ticket for chaos and entertainment. Hey, Janice, welcome. Hi, what did I miss? Well, Janice, you missed a quick round. Well, not exactly a quick, but you missed a discussion about anime and talking about book reviews and criticism and the merchandising trailer for the Amazing Digital Circus. We are right now wrapping on up with talking about Jax the Jerk and why this really isn't as much of a controversy as people out on the internet want it to be, because he is written as a jerk and they actually downplay his jerkishness. So, hey. Mimic, it's self-cannibalism at its finest, especially when you're made of fudge. Fun fact, when Kevin Temmer was animating the Fudge, he used every animation technique that he could so he could look as cool as possible. And by golly, did it work.
Oh, bad point!
Why don't you leave this to me before I start thinking your hair looks like licorice?
Jax!
Wow, it kind of does.
Stop!
Well, Mr. Fudge, you seem like an upstanding guy with real noble goals.
Oh, I'm not. If you knew what I did in my free time, oh, you'd be sickened.
As
Oh, the Fudge being real about himself. Please don't have such skeletons in your closets that you can then freely admit to, because that's just bad. Do not do that in your real life. Janice again. Oh god, the new merch video. Kinger ATE. Man, Kinger slayed it. I need the full album release of Kinger's best hits. Mr. Fudge is fudging through life. That's a great way of putting it.
I was saying, I happen to know a way into the kingdom walls.
The
if
key.
you'd be willing to help us out in return.
Hey, when did you...
Shut up, licorice hair.
Here, have it with this.
Oh, you must be some kind of master of unlocking things.
You must be some master of unlocking things. Oh, Fudge. How horrifying and stupid you are. I really just love the way he said, "You'd be sickened." More than just the joke itself. Great joke, amazing delivery. Yeah, again, this is all just jokey stuff right here. We know that Jax is a jerk. We know who these characters are. This is just to deliver the funniness. Because if every character was like Ragatha, this scene would not be funny. It would be horrifying. You would then get the Raggedy Ann and Andy scene with the greedy, and that's just disturbing to watch. That's not funny. It just has a really horrible earworm of a song that once you hear it, you're like, "Get out of my head!" The Amazing Digital Circus could never make me hate you, Jax. Apparently the master of unlocking things was a reference. I may be wrong, though. If that is a reference, I'd be interested in knowing what's a reference to.
Come to free me from my outdoor prison.
That's me.
Free me
All
from
we
my
need you
outdoor
to do
prison.
is
It's like
help us
Devil.
bring some
You're all
dirty
trapped
bandits to
outside.
justice.
Yes.
Are you sure they disappeared? It wasn't that they fell off or something?
I can't say for sure, but yes, definitely.
It's not like the boss to vanish with a clown. Very unusual.
Master of disguise.
I'm so unbelievably disappointed.
And that right there, so coming back to a murder hobo, this right here, why is Jax actually so incredibly disappointed? Because everything that he wanted to do, a chance for him to rage against Kane's NPCs, a chance to fully exert himself, to have some fun, have some freedom, have some power, has largely been stolen from him by what seems to be just this overly optimistic and wholesome ending. And that's why Jax is so upset, because his way of dealing with the existential crisis is lashing out in a jerky manner. And there you have it. That's his character. Again, you don't actually have to like it. People on the internet don't have to like Jax's character. But understanding Jax's character makes sense of these scenes, and actually I think makes it a lot more funny and a lot more engaging. Janice, I actually went out of my way to watch the Raggedy Ann Andy movie immediately after this episode dropped, and I went down a rabbit hole. Yes, that is a rabbit hole, particularly when it came to Andy. I loved him. Yeah, because Jax is Andy. Hafiz, Master of Unlocking, is that a Resident Evil reference? I don't know. Matter Lad says, no, it had someone say that someone was a Master of Unlocking. Mimic, the Sweet Candy Land in this episode sort of reminded me of the Candyland, Sugar Rush Land from Wreck-It Ralph. Yes, definitely Wreck-It Ralph vibes. Hannah, hey, I finally fixed it. I am on Discord. Yay! Please let me rest, universe. Also, by the way, I love this episode. Hannah, I'm glad that you're able to resolve the Discord issues. It's really good.
Right now.
Well, maybe there will be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome.
See, how wholesome. It's not what he wants.
Thanks to you, brave
it's not a way
knights,
for him
our
to
kingdom
deal
will
with
once again
the whole
thrive.
issue that
I'm
he's
sure it
stuck
was
in.
no easy task.
Janice, did you know that Michael actually did a cover of No Girl's Toy? I did not know this, and I need it. I need it.
You have no idea.
Farewell, brave knights. Have fun executing
They have
that bandit
completed
fella.
their quest.
Yes. that
Level up and
is
get some.
what we're doing.
Level up and get the loot.
Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
that is great payoff to so much setup. It honestly is. I love it.
What? I thought he was dead. You still did that?
Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
Got everything ready.
Okay then. So there's the last real Jax jerk moment. What I'm about to show you right here is one where people are like, "Oh, this is a jerk moment from Jax." But honestly, what we're about to see right here, with Jax having kind of a negative reaction to Kaufmo's funeral, I think again underscores how he's dealing with the digital circus. That like any young guy in their 20s who's dealing with this existential crisis does not want to accept the fact that death and defeat are real, that it's something that could happen to him. Saying goodbye to Kaufmo is what in many ways kind of expose his own heart and soul to things that I don't think he's ready to do yet. And it's an uncomfortable truth that he's trying to run away from by acting the way that he does. And I'll see what you guys think once we watch this. But first, Marlad, look at the Crocs in the back dancing when Pomni wants to bring Gummy to the circus and is telling Ragatha about it. Me and Jax think alike in that way. Oh, Jax is so disappointed that he didn't get to officially start World War V. He will try.
Hey, you at least want to join us for Kaufmo's funeral? We like to have a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract.
So that was, again, so much happening right there. And on StreamYard, you can't exactly slow it down frame by frame, unless I were to do that in another editing software. But
Got everything ready.
But
Hey,
if you slow down,
You at least want to join us
Jax's
for Kaufmo's
reaction
funeral?
to Kaufmo's funeral being announced.
We like to have a little funeral service to remember.
So here we have him. He's being annoyed. But at the same time, as his eyes go that way, there's actually there's a hint of sympathy, and it's a hint of sympathy that he immediately tries to cover up.
For the people who
So he then rolls his eyes. It's like, nope, not going to show that. He's looking away. And we've seen him actually do that in the first episode where he was looking away while trying to avoid the very real possibility of being attacked by Kaufmo and abstracting himself. He does not want to face this reality.
abstract.
And then he becomes angry and stalks off. So we have an initial reaction where we see that he does feel the same way. He then, as the others do, but he rejects it. He's in denial, and denial becomes anger. And we see all of that happen in just the splittest of seconds with Jax. And that's why I love just this briefest moment with him right here, because it humanizes the jerk. And it gives us, again, I think if we are willing to spend some time with it, it gives us context to him as the jerk character. So even if you don't like him, you can at least understand him. And I think that's really important to do with a character such as Jax. He started World War III and World War IV, but someone else started World War V. Jax was devastated. But maybe seeing Pomni comforting Gummy Goo is sort of a foreshadowing for Pomni being a comforting Ragatha figure for Jax. And Mibuk, I believe that you are on the right path there, especially with how Pomni does change as a character, how she grows thanks to her interactions with Gummy Goo and with this scene here at the end. We're at pre-starter for Jax's arc. Yep.
This one just got
this is
pushed
all
around
set
a
up.
bit
Yeah,
with
a
your
lot of this
arrival and
is set up
everything.
for the
It's the
characters
least we
and
can
what they
do
will
to
be
honor their
facing.
memory.
Kinger is the mystery to be solved. Zubul, Gangle, Ragatha, and Jax are characters who are being set up for their own character arcs later in the season.
Oh man, I always
Tommy
think
is
I'm prepared
undergoing
for
her
these
own.
things, but then you set up the picture and, well, I'm already breaking.
And the music for this scene is just so dang good. And people actually showing real emotion other than contempt is especially after we've seen Zubul for most of their time on screen. This right here is a small gut punch, is a small emotional gut punch that I really like. Kinger's character, Kinger with a shotgun. I was once the man with the shotgun until I ended up in the circus. Omni coming back to me, and then boom. So I saw some clickbait where someone was like, "Oh, this arm right here, this is a mysterious character that we haven't seen yet." This is Ragatha. So the brownish arm is Ragatha. The weird wonky cartoonish one, the blue and green one is Zubul. You can see the ribbon from Gangle wrapping around Ragatha and Pomni's hand, and you can see the fingers of Kinger's disembodied gloved hand on the other side, curling up from the other side. So I love this right here because Pomni is facing that nightmare that she had at the beginning and realizing that just like how she had undergone that moment of overcoming an existential crisis with Gummy Goo, she's not alone. There are other people in the digital circus who are going or have been going through the exact same thing as her, and they are there for her. If they're willing to remember Kaufmo, who even in the pilot episode, they were kind of making fun of Kaufmo. If they're there, if they are here for him, they will be here for her. And that is a very healing moment for Pomni, and really it helps to solidify where she is meant to go as a character. Kinger canonically cannot pull Pomni up, though. That is true, but as we've seen, that hasn't stopped Kinger from trying, especially when the Gloink stole Zubul's head and he tried to get Zubul back. He still tried. Kinger is trying. All right, so there we have it. There's the Jax moments and then some little healing stuff there at the end. Mimic, wow, I absolutely love this beautiful orchestra version of the Amazing Digital Circus theme song. It's so beautiful and romantic, and I think this episode marks a beautiful turning point for the Amazing Digital Circus. I believe so too. And while I believe that there's definitely some real horrors waiting down the pipeline for us, this episode is meant to instill us with a sense of hope in the face of it all. And that's actually something that's very important, because if this were just a show poking fun at existential crises and character suffering, you could only enjoy it for so long. If this gets 8 to 10 episodes, I believe it's meant to get 8 episodes in its first season. It might get 10. I can't remember. I know that there was discussion about how many episodes it's meant to get. If it was just parroting existential horror, it would get very boring and very tedious very fast, and people would not be able to stick through it. However, by giving a sense of hope to the audience through this episode, you are promising a sense of catharsis. In fact, actually, you might have even felt that while watching this episode. You're like, wow, there is hope. There is hope in the worst of situations. All it requires are some friends. It requires some people who are willing to be there for you, or who are going through the same thing as you. And if I can find them, that's comforting. That's catharsis. Being able to make sense of all that you've gone through. TV account member Goose twittering about how worried she was that no one would get this. this show, but was relieved, or get this scene. I don't think you meant to write down Sean. Nick says, and Polly realizes that she's not alone after all, and I realize that I'm not alone either. Exactly. Catharsis. That is what a story like this is meant to convey. I got jump scared. I just got jump scared. I looked away and all I heard was, "Leave!" Wow, is Roger Rabbit hanging out of your house? Roblox is down. I heard it was 8 episodes with all of them being written before the pilot. Fantastic. That actually makes me really happy. For one thing, because that will then hopefully that means that the episodes come out quicker. Because I know that one of the things that has prevented Murder Drones from coming out more regularly is that Liam Vickers is constantly reworking and workshopping the scripts all the time. He's even admitted it. He's basically admitted as much in an interview. So if Gooseworx already feels very confident with her scripts going forward, hopefully that means we get more of the Amazing Digital Circus regularly, and that helps keep the hype train going for the series. And if they can manage that, holy cow, the Amazing Digital Circus might then just end up potentially as the most successful, most watched series done on YouTube for YouTube that has ever YouTubed. Rolex says, not sure if they're complete final, though. Who knows? Who knows? There's always going to be editing. There's always going to be some workshopping. And that's just what happens. But if Gooseworx already had the entire story planned out well in advance, that in my opinion, bodes very well for the series going forward. All right. So, wow. This stream went on longer than I expected it to. So we'll start wrapping it up here. So that way I can, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I get an early day tomorrow, most likely to go rappelling with my nephew, which is going to be awesome. But that's going to require a lot of driving. And it'd be really bad to fall asleep on a cliff. Because I know what it's like to fall down a cliff. It hurts. All right. Mavik says, when Ragatha went up first to speak in honor of their clown friend, when the music took a little pause, I legit thought that she was about to start singing about her dear friend, about her dead friend. And we know that Ragatha will sing, but maybe we're not meant to get an in-episode Ragatha solo just yet. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for being here for this live stream. It's been great having you all here. It's been great getting your feedback and being able to share some stuff. And hey, you guys were also kind to my stories, even as I showed the not so. I mean, all of the reviews were actually very positive. But as far as like the scores go, I know there's some people who've dropped around in the comments before who they're like, man, if my book got 3 out of 5 stars, I'd probably stop writing. I'm like, don't stop writing. Don't stop. Again, it's all about improving and becoming better as you go along. And that's what you need to look for when it comes to criticism. Look for the criticism that is actually where the critics are trying to help you improve, and take that to heart. You don't have to do precisely what they say, but you should take to heart what they're saying, so that way then you can use that information, use that encouragement and that advice in your own unique way to better your stories. Janice, if you want to hear Michael sing No Girls Toy, just look up Jack's No Girls Toy Animatic by Sifuro. Okay, I'll look that up. And Mimic, also, you took the term cliffhanger to a whole new level. Mr. Lars, I'm so sorry you fell off that cliff. I fortunately didn't fall all the way to the very bottom. That's because of the belay rope. When you go rappelling, there's always a belay rope, so that way the people at the bottom of the cliff can yank on it and it will bring you to an immediate stop. I tripped as I was going down the cliff. My heel hit an outcropping of rock and I flipped and went down the cliff. Woo! That's also why you wear a hard hat. Why you wear protective gear when you go rappelling, because if you flip, your head is going to be the very first thing to hit the cliff. And the cliff isn't going to be spongy. Yeah, it is scary. And I'm scared of heights, but I'm also a thrill junkie. Fun fact about Lars, I am a thrill junkie. So even though I'm terrified of heights, I love in mostly safe environments facing that fear of heights. I'm also glad I survived as well. All right, guys. Again, thank you just so much for being here. You've been great as always. The chat's been fantastic. And until the next video, y'all, hope you have a wonderful evening or a great day wherever you're at. And when I see you, and until I see you next time, tschüss.